Hello Uplanders, I'm YK2012 of the Upland Guide, and I'm going to explain to you today why I'm going to be unstaking all of my Spark from my buildings. In my previous video, which you can see linked in the upper right hand corner, I talked about the winter holiday ornaments that are on sale and a prediction about an upcoming contest that I believe that Upland will be holding. I believe the contest will require players to place these holiday ornaments on top of their buildings. The neighborhood that has the most buildings with ornaments on top of them will receive Spark. This is what happened during Halloween, and Portage Park was the neighborhood that won that contest. For every building that someone had in Portage Park that had an ornament on it at the end of the competition was awarded 0.01 Spark. So if you had 7 buildings with ornaments on them, you would receive 0.07 Spark. So this is the reason that I purchased a property in Portage Park the other day, and I started building on it. So you can see here under the Manage tab, I have 4.51 Spark staked, and this build is going to take me another 7.5 days approximately. If you're new to Spark and you're not familiar with any of this, make sure to click on the video in the upper right hand corner that explains everything you need to know about Spark. So I am going to be unstaking all of this Spark except for the minimum, because I don't want my building to be demolished. So I have to keep a minimum of 0.1 Spark on this build. The remaining 4.41 Spark I'm going to be removing for a short period of time in order to receive UPEX from Upland. Here I am on the Upland website on a page titled Structure Ornament Spark Exchange Simulation. As part of this exchange simulation, I will be given UPEX, and you can also receive UPEX. And I'm going to explain to you how it works and what in fact you have to do in order to get this UPEX. So it's important to read here what they are trying to do. In the future, there is going to be a working Spark exchange where you will be able to not use any of your Spark, but put it into a pool of Spark that will be within UPEX, and anyone who is interested in renting that Spark will be able to go to this exchange within Upland and rent Spark from the market. Based on that, you will be given a portion of the proceeds from that entire pool. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about how that works. However, what they are trying to do right now is to simulate that. The reason that they are doing this now when these ornaments are on sale is for a very simple reason. The rules in Upland state that in order to build something, you require Spark. So any inanimate object, right now it's only structures. Now we have these ornaments. In the future it's going to be cars and other things that you can place on your lawn, such as fences or maybe even a swimming pool. All of these things require Spark in order to build it. It just doesn't pop out of thin air. So because of this rule, Upland is trying to simulate that now, even though this functionality does not yet exist. Essentially, any of the Spark that is not staked on anyone's building can be placed in this pool, where people will be able to use that Spark for their own purposes. The simulation actually requires players to unstake their Spark before Monday, December 20th, 2021 at 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. So as it says here, somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock, they are going to be taking a snapshot of all the unstaked Spark that exists in Upland, and they will be providing those players with a prorated portion of up to 9.9 million UPEX based on the amount of Spark they have unstaked. So in order to do that, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to unstake my Spark about 5 or 10 minutes before 8 o'clock in the morning, just to make sure that the transaction is cleared on the blockchain. And I'm going to restake that Spark on my building after 9 o'clock in the morning to make sure that I am included in the snapshot. In addition to that, everyone who wants to do that has to register on this page, and you can see that in the link below. I've already registered, but here it's asking for your email and Upland username. You have to register and fill out this form by Monday, December 20th at 7 a.m. Pacific time. So if you do those two things, register for this on this form and unstake your Spark a couple of minutes before 8 o'clock in the morning, and you're free to restake it after a couple of minutes after 9 o'clock in the morning, then they will give you an amount of UPEX, which is proportionate to the amount of Spark you have unstaked. It's not entirely clear exactly how much you will get, but this is a really good way just to take a pause for a couple of minutes from your builds in order to get some UPEX. Now, for players who do rent out their Spark to other people, I don't know if it makes sense to unstake in order to get the amount from Upland. It's unclear how much you get from Upland, so you may or may not be getting a better deal. But just keep that in mind, that this is a nice way just for a couple of minutes to stop your build and get some more UPEX. So once again, in anticipation of this potential contest that will be going on, I believe that Portage Park will definitely be a competitor in any building contest that exists, and that's why I went and purchased a building. I started my build so that hopefully by the time that this contest is over, I will have my build completed. I also bought a number of ornaments in order to place on several buildings I have in several neighborhoods, in the hopes that regardless of which neighborhood wins, that I might be able to win some Spark as well. For anyone interested in learning more about the Portage Park neighborhood, there's a link in the video below, and make sure to purchase your ornaments as well and support the designers of them, who are all players in Upland. They actually receive 70% of the proceeds, so that's something really exciting for creators in the Upland metaverse. Please give this video a like. Let us know how much Spark you will be unstaking in order to get UPEX from Upland. Drop us a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.